wanna get service, selection, and price so low. The Record Archive is the place to go.
This is Commander
You're listening to Grim Dystopian with Freaky Kids and Benny G, your music podcast for everything metal.
Society, what is human life? Time is coming, your Here we are.
Episode 82.
Indeed.
Another great episode.
Another great
in
guest.
our humble opinion. Yeah, definitely a great cast.
We kicked off the episode with a couple of Buffalo bands.
Yep.
First was Hell Cannon with the song Condemned.
And then after that was Cemetery Echo with Youth Disease.
Fantastic stuff.
Absolutely. So,
yeah,
I got a question. Eddie Van Halen died recently.
He did.
Everyone in the world, I think, knows this. What? And we talked about, like, when I was traveling and I missed, we missed Van Halen.
Yeah.
When they came, like, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I saw online there was a rumor kind of circulating about a possible Van Halen. So a new Van Halen. This would be Sammy Hagar singing, Michael Anthony playing bass, which is cool, right?
Yeah.
Alex on drums, of course. And you're not going to believe this. Who do you think is going to play guitar?
Is it somebody like off the wall?
Not really. It's someone that I don't know. I wouldn't, and I heard him play. He's really good. He could do it, and like, I feel like if anyone could pull this off and not offend the world, it would be him.
Who?
Wolfgang, his son.
I don't hate that, actually.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I wanted to hate it, but I didn't.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
It kind of reminds me of like
I thought you were going to say Ingve or something.
No, that would be terrible. 'Cause they had a rivalry. That would be so insulting.
Right.
Like Dweezil Zappa does like tours and does Frank Zappa stuff.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. That is the only person that could like really pull it off.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's carrying on his dad's legacy.
Yeah.
I feel like he would like that.
Yeah. But I hear that this rumor was squashed and not a fact, not on the table.
So this is just like a what if it happened, not it is happening.
I don't know. It was a rumor. I don't know where it started, but I don't know.
Well, if it does happen, I wouldn't hate it.
I could see it happening eventually, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't, even though they said no, I feel like that is not out of the question.
I mean, if it's a rumor,
Yeah.
right? There's
Yeah.
a little bit of truth in everything that's said, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Are we carrying on?
We're carrying on.
What do you got over there?
So, who is our guest today? None other than the mastermind behind some of the UK's most intriguing underground acts, such as Howl, Lord Rot, and the mighty Hellripper. So sit, stand, lie down, or do whatever you're doing, and grab yourself a chalice of Beastmilk, and listen into our conversation with Scotland's sonic alchemist, James McBain. But first, we're going to hear the title track off of Hellripper's 2019 EP, Black Arts and Alchemy. James.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Very good. So thanks for chatting with us tonight.
No problem.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're big fans of pretty much everything you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, that's really cool to hear. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
So if we could start off with, we were kind of introduced to you as the man behind Hellripper, but
Mhm.
I think your journey started before that. Can you kind of talk about the early days of like what got you into underground metal and playing guitar and singing, and kind of what led up to Hellripper?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always been into music. Like when I was like 5 or 6 or something, I got into like, you know, music that was around at the time, like pop and rock and whatever was around at the time.
Mhm.
I've always liked music. But my uncle, my mum's brother, he had a large vinyl collection that was kept at my grandma's house.
Mhm.
And when I would go over, I used to check those out. So I'm not sure how old I was. It was like really young, but I would go and like explore these, like his record collection. It was like kind of fascinating, and it was my uncle. So I kind of like I looked up to it.
Right.
Like I looked up to him. I thought it was quite cool, and there was like albums there. He had like a bunch of like obscure punk stuff and loads of 80s metal stuff. There was like Discharge, Motorhead, Dio, Black
Nice.
Sabbath,
Nice.
Judas Priest, and all that kind of thing. So I was like exposed to metal when I was like young. I never got into it. I never became like a massive fan at that point, but like it was in my mind, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And as I got older, I was like really into classic rock, hard rock, any sort of guitar music, really. My uncle also played the guitar as well, so it was like, yeah, it was like that was also like in my mind, like it was like an interest of mine. So I started playing guitar when I was around, I'm not sure, it must have been 11, 12, maybe before that, I'm not too sure.
Mhm.
And I wasn't very good, but when I was around 14 or 15, I discovered Metallica and Megadeth. And that is when like I really started to like metal, and that kind of like started my real journey into metal, and it got me more interested in playing the guitar. I remember the first like one of the first metal songs I like tried to learn was For Whom the Bell Tolls, and it was like really difficult for me. Like I never played anything at the time.
Uh-huh.
And of course it's like a slow song. It's easy enough to play, but like I really struggled with it, and I spent ages trying to learn that. And yeah, from there, like Metallica and Megadeth, I really got into like thrash metal and like your traditional heavy metal.
Mhm.
And that was around the time, it was like 2009, 2010 maybe, around that time. And of course there was the thrash revival was kind of happening around that time,
Right.
and there was a sort of like revival of the traditional heavy metal.
Yeah.
So I would listen to like Metallica and Megadeth on YouTube, and I would go on the like related videos and thrash metal videos, playlists and things, and so I discovered bands like Warbringer and Evil, Havoc, Enforcer, Steelwing, Skullfist, like all sorts of new and of course old bands like Creator and Slayer, Sodom, and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then just from there, I got really into like finding new bands, and eventually I got into death metal and just heavier music and things. So it was basically due to the internet, like the ease of finding new music through the internet, just exploring for hours and hours each night and finding a million new bands every night.
Yeah.
So it was really cool.
So do you think that your uncle kind of intrigued you into the music and to the guitar and all that, and then you kind of took it on your own and dug deeper on your own?
Yeah, I think so. It was my uncle had passed away before I was born, actually, so it was kind of like it was kind of intriguing in that sense. because I never knew him, but it was like interesting. Like my grandma had his like guitar at her house and stuff. It was a black Les Paul copy, and it looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there was all these vinyls and stuff. So yeah, I think that was probably like a factor, like a sort of, I guess, like subconscious factor, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't my main motivation, but I guess it probably sparked my interest and played a big part in getting me, like, sparking my interest in the music.
Right. Yeah.
And the guitar.
It makes sense.
I don't mean to get nerdy here, but like that is the power of music.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody inspired you that you've never even met. In a way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It was just really, when I like looked at the record collection, I mean, I was inspired to do that because of my uncle, and I thought it must be cool and stuff. And then from there, like the album art and stuff, like there was Judas Priest stuff, like the big British Steel, like the big razor.
Yeah.
Like that, like it draws you in, that kind of stuff. And Ozzy Osbourne, a couple of albums, of course, have got like really campy, like 80s covers that are like really appealing, quite horror, like quite scary.
Right.
If you're kind of a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember which ones it was. I think it was a couple of like live albums. And there was the Black Sabbath album with Dio, the live album. I think it's called Live Evil.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was there, and like, yeah, just the album art, like, kind of like draws you in as well from there. Like, yeah, it's really cool to see when you're a kid. Like, it's not something you see every day.
Right. I know a lot of people have said the same thing, and I know that happened to me. Like, seeing a lot of these album covers as a kid, it scared me, but that's what kind of drew me into the whole. It drew me in to looking deeper.
Yeah, especially when you're a kid and you're seeing, or a teenager, and you're seeing like Cannibal Corpse and shit like that. It's just so, it draws you in because, I mean, you've got it's just like, some of it's like really just crazy and out there and stuff, like Cannibal Corpse, and the cool stuff. Like, I mean, the Cannibal Corpse stuff is cool, but I mean, you've got like Power Slave was one of my favorites, Iron Maiden, Power Slave.
Oh yeah. But
just the album cover to that's like one of the albums that like drew me in from the cover art. I think it's probably one of my favorite covers of all time. It's just so much detail and different from everything else. That's
cool. They kind of had that Egypt concept long before Nile was thinking about it.
Yeah.
So was Rats of Reality your first kind of band that you like recorded with?
Yeah. I was in a couple of bands like in school, but I mean, we never really done anything. It was kind of like we would meet up and kind of play a couple of cover songs, and they didn't like lead anywhere or whatever. But yeah, Rats of Reality, that was formed, I think, when was that? 2014, I think, maybe 13. I can't remember. So it was just after I came out of school, and me and Peter decided to we wanted to like really record something, but we didn't have like other members, and it was just us two. So we decided just to like do it by ourselves, like record, like rent a practice space and just record things by ourselves, like see how that turned out. And the first EP is a bit messy. It's like we didn't really have a direction. We were just kind of like really excited to like record something and release it. So the sound is like everywhere. Like there's like stuff influenced by all sorts of stuff, like Black Flag, Dark Throne, Toxic Holocaust. Like it was just all out.
Yeah, you're experimenting.
Yeah, it was just, that was the first kind of songs that I wrote, and like I didn't have like anything in mind for it, so it was just like, I didn't really know what I was doing. And then we brought our friend Clarky in to play bass, and we turned into a 3-piece. And that from there we kind of like settled on a metal punk direction, kind of going from there. And we played a few shows throughout the UK and things, but yeah, that stopped a couple of years ago.
I could, listening to like the first recording and then the one that came out at the 2015, it backs up what you just said. It kind of sounded like I liked the first one, but it sounded like you were kind of looking for what you were gonna do, and then the next one I listened to that, and it sounds like, it doesn't sound like Hellripper, but I can tell it's you, and it's your style, it's your voice, and it sounds like you kind of found yourself in that time.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, the first one, I mean, we didn't know how to record or anything, so we just rented the practice space, and I think we used like 2 microphones for the drums. Like we put like one on the bass drum or something, and like one overhead, because that's all that could fit into the recording interface we were using. So like the quality was never going to be good. I think I recorded the guitars at home, and I recorded vocals at home, and I had never performed vocals before. So like, actually no, we rented the practice space again, and I done some vocals at the practice space, and I never done vocals before. So yeah, like you say, I hadn't found my voice. I was just like kind of screaming. I had no idea what I was doing. I thought I was the only option. Like we didn't have another vocalist or anything. So I thought, I've got to try something. But yeah, by the next year, we had played a few shows. I had written a lot more songs, so I was improving my songwriting abilities, I think, and yeah, the overall recording was better. We kind of learned what we were doing. It was just like a learning process, and if you go through those EPs, we're just learning through each one. I think each one like improves slightly. Yeah. So
was there like a guitar vocalist early on that you kind of saw that you were like, I want to do that?
I guess James Hetfield.
Yeah.
I mean, the guitar vocalist. James Hetfield. Dave Mustaine. I've just anything really. I'm not sure if it's. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's particular like the guitar and vocals at the same time. Like, I mean, I love Corpse Grinder is one of my favorites. All of that. But of course, Metallica and Megadeth were the ones that got me into it. So you've got Hetfield and Dave Mustaine and Jeff Walters. I mean, he does vocals sometimes.
Right.
I'm just it was more out of necessity really than like what I wanted to do. I wanted to play guitar.
Just guitar.
But I was kind of forced into being a vocalist. So
well, yeah, I can say that I am happy.
Yeah, we're thankful for that.
And many other people are happy that you were forced into that, because
yeah, me too. I enjoy it now. I enjoy it now, although when you're playing live, it's like sometimes I think it would be fun to be able to have a bit of like freedom, like not having to do something at all times.
Right. Yeah.
Like if I was just playing guitar, I could concentrate on that and move around and stuff. And
right.
But yeah, I enjoy both. So yeah, I'm glad it happened. And now I feel like I've developed like a technique so that I can do vocals without hurting myself, and it's like a voice that I'm happy with how it sounds and things. So yeah, I'm glad it happened as well.
Yeah. So when we look at what you've done, at least online, I know there's a lot of errors online, but it kind of looks like you kind of came onto the scene at the same time with a bunch of different bands, a bunch of different projects, all within a couple of years of each other.
Yeah.
And all of it is really impressive. And
thank you.
We were wondering, how was that intentional to do it that way? And how did you keep all that straight? Like going Like, especially like the Lock Howl stuff is very different from the Lord Rot and the Hellripper stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of intentional. It was just around that time, 2014-15, I started to learn. I dedicated like myself to learning how to record and mix things at home. So, like, I was determined to learn how that worked, and I was determined to see what I could do. So, while I had never like released anything before, so like all my kind of different influences came at the same time, I guess. Like, I was really inspired to write some post-punk goth stuff, really inspired to write some death metal stuff, and of course Hellripper stuff. Like, they all kind of came at the same time, just because I was getting like excited, like being creative and learning how to record and things. So yeah, it was just like a creative time for me, I guess. Like, yeah, just things kept coming to me, and I really pushed myself to try and learn how to do things. And yeah, and once I released the first Hellripper EP, and it got quite a positive reception, I guess it kind of boosted my confidence, and I went on to work on the Lock Howl and the Lord Rot stuff like straight away, as well as other Hellripper stuff. Yeah, most of 2015, most of my time was just in my room recording and mixing things. But yeah, it was a way of practicing mixing and learning how to do it, as well as, yeah, my creative side just came out all of that one time, I guess.
It's really impressive how much material you put out, and it's not fluff or filler material or slapped together. It's all so good. But
no, thank you.
It's all very consistent, and it's impressive.
He's not a fan at all.
No, not at all.
I can tell.
No, I'm envious. I'm very impressed.
So how did you end up working with Reaper Metal Productions?
Reaper, I believe Thomas from Redefining Darkness, if you're familiar with the label.
We are.
Yeah, great label. Thomas messaged me after the first Lock Howl album came out, because he's a fan of that kind of music as well, and I got in contact with Thomas from there, and we stayed in contact and became friends. And just when I was like recording some Hellripper stuff, he told me that he was helping out Reaper with starting a new label, and asked if I'd be if I wanted to be part of it with Hellripper. And yeah, I've been a fan of the Hellcast and loads of bands on Hell's Headbangers and stuff. I mean, Midnight and stuff like that. Yeah, of course, Hell's Headbangers. So yeah, I just accepted that, and yeah, became friends with Reaper, and we still speak occasionally. And yeah, and it was just it was a great. I think it was one of their first releases, the EP, and it turned out great. Reaper done a great job. Both the guys know what they're doing. I mean, Thomas knows what he's doing with Redefining Darkness. I think both of them do a great job with what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I was happy. Like the EP came out great. Like the LP, like with the etching on the back, that was Reaper's idea, and that looked really cool. Yeah. So yeah, it was just a cool thing to be part of, and yeah, really, really nice guys. And
so, do you think that the exposure you got from being on Reaper Productions is what led to you signing with Peaceville Records?
Possibly. The Peaceville got in contact with me just as the EP came out. So they were turned on to me by the head of the label of Peaceville. One of his friends. I'd been in contact with him for a while. I didn't know it was his friend, but he turned Peaceville onto the band. And yeah, Peaceville got in contact with me while we were on tour promoting the EP. So I think it was 5 days after the EP came out or something.
Oh, nice.
It was while we were in we were stuck in a traffic jam on the way to support Midnight in London. And I checked my emails, and I had an email from Peaceville, so that was quite cool.
Nice. Cool.
So yeah, but I mean, everything, definitely Reaper, Metal Productions definitely helped like get the exposure to the band. Whether it was the reason for Peaceville or not, many people have heard of the band through Reaper Metal Productions, so they definitely helped a lot in that respect.
Makes sense. Let's take a short break and check out a fantastic song off of Lock Howl's 2017 release, Pareidolia. We're going to hear Echoes from the Chemical Void.
So we kind of mentioned Lock Howl, so I want to take a step back. I know we're kind of jumping everywhere, but we have so many questions for you.
That's fine, ask away. I'm not doing anything tonight.
So is Lock Howl still active?
Yeah, it's still active. It's just both a mixture of I haven't had the time and I've been busy with Hellripper stuff, like focusing on that recently. And just the ideas I don't think have been good enough that have came to me. Over the years, I've became like very picky with my ideas. I think with the first 2015, like when I released all of those things, I don't know how many releases, it was like 5 or 6 releases from myself in 2015.
Yeah.
They were all kind of like spur of the moment. I recorded them and put them out. Whereas now I'm a nightmare. Like I delete, I record like 1 million songs, write 1 million songs and delete them all. So yeah, so Lock Howl is definitely still active. The plan was to put out another full length at some point, but I think I'm probably going to stick to an EP. I have 3 songs almost finished that I'm really happy with, but I've got no idea when I'm going to release them or what's going to happen. I get distracted too easily. Like I get like Hellripper's just like, I'm feeling really creative with Hellripper at the moment, so anytime I go to write something, like it turns into Hellripper, like a speed metal kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the ideas haven't been coming to me, and I don't want to put out anything that I'm not happy with just for the sake of it. So when the inspiration's there and when I'm happy with what I've got, then something will come. It will come at some point. I'm just not sure when.
Yeah.
I've been working on a couple of other projects as well. The next one that I'll probably release is like probably a 4-track EP, like kind of crust punk crossover kind of thing, just for fun.
Oh, nice.
That's sounding quite cool. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, Lock Howl is still active.
Cool, very cool. And who's George?
George.
George McBain.
Oh, that's my dad. Oh.
Oh, nice. So
yeah,
he's been on some of your recordings, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was on the Lock Howl album. He played tambourine or something.
Mm-hmm.
And on the first Hellripper album, my dad and my mum do some backing vocals, like gang vocals.
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I recorded it in my bedroom, so
Nice.
they were at home, and yeah, my dad came up to see what I was doing, and I got them involved.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Are they fans of what you do?
They are, but I think it's more because they have to. I mean, my dad likes like rock,
Yeah.
like rock, not this kind. I mean, he likes AC/DC and
Got ya.
stuff like that. My mom, she tolerates it. But yeah, I mean, they're not massive fans of black metal or speed metal, but
Okay. Yeah.
my mom likes Metallica and stuff like that, and so it's, yeah.
I got you. So, we wanted to ask you about and if I'm pronouncing this wrong, which I often do, the Demdike song appears on the Worldwide Organization of Metalheads Against Nazis 2. How did that whole thing come together? And that's very cool, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the whole thing came together. I was asked by the guy that put it together if I wanted to contribute a song that was like against Nazis, and I was like, yeah, fine. Hellripper is not a political band, but I'm against any form of like Nazism, fascism, and all that kind of shit.
Right.
So yeah, I just said yeah, and that was like really the only involvement I had. I've got no idea what happened after that. I just said yeah, I'd like to help out. The money that was raised was going to a good cause as well, so that was like a good thing.
So since you mentioned it, you, I think about once a year, you donate to charity, right? From profits off of your band camp. So why is that important to you? How did that come about?
It just came about because I feel very fortunate to be in a position that I can help other people with my music. I get to, it just makes me feel good that I can help other people by selling my music or merch or whatever. And I've donated to a bunch of different charities over the past couple of years, but usually every Christmas or so, December, I donate to Bernardo's, which is like a charity for vulnerable children and stuff, because I mean, it's unfair that any child has to have a hard life. So yeah, it's just it's just kind of common sense for me, really.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I just feel I feel lucky to be in a position that I can do that with my music. Like, so I do.
That's
awesome.
incredible.
Yeah, I know we're supposed to be talking about metal, but I'm tearing up over here,
know.
James. That's awesome.
Thank you.
The world needs more of you.
Yes.
So, as far as Howl, what kind of influenced you to write and record that kind of music?
Yeah, it's just I'm a big fan of like kind of post-punk, goth, even kind of like more pop music, I guess. So yeah, Howl's like really influenced. A couple of my favorite bands of all time are Beastmilk, who went on to become Grave Pleasures as well.
Mm-hmm.
Both a couple of my favorites. Typo Negative, another favorite of mine.
Nice.
Editors, a more kind of pop band from the UK, one of my favorites as well. So it's just a couple of my favorite. It's like one of my favorite styles of music as well, alongside metal, and it helps because it's something that I can't really include in Hellripper.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps that I'm not trying to force that influence into Hellripper. It's like such a completely different thing that it doesn't fit with Hellripper or Lord Rot or anything.
Right.
So it's good to be able to like just do a project that's like completely dedicated to that style, without trying to shoehorn it into Hellripper just because I want to like bring something different or something.
Right.
So it's just I like the style of music. Always have. Yeah, it's just as simple as that, really. It's most of the things I do is just because I like to do it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, or do you know if I know we love it, but do like the Hellripper fans in general like the Howl stuff, or are they even aware of it?
I'm not too sure. A few people have said they like it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I bet probably most aren't aware of it. And probably a lot of people hate it as well. But
well, then they have bad taste.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, most of what I would hear, most people don't tell me that they would hate something. So
yeah.
most of the feedback I hear is positive. So
I know that I learned about Hellripper, in like 2017, I think, and I loved it right away, and then I kind of stumbled across Howl. I forgot how. I think just looking around on Bandcamp, and I love that too. And it wasn't until, I don't know, it was probably like a year later that I realized that it was you. I didn't even know it was the same person. And I was like, holy fuck, this guy's awesome at this and awesome at that. Like, it's impressive.
No, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really, I didn't really promote it, I think, as like a Hellripper side project or whatever. I tried to kind of promote them separately.
Right.
I think the Howl album actually came out before the first Hellripper album.
Mm-hmm.
So there was
the first Howl, right?
The album. There's been one EP and one album.
Right. Okay.
The EP came out after the first Hellripper EP.
Got ya.
But the album came out, I think, 2 months before the first Hellripper album, Coagulating Darkness. So it was like, they were like two separate things. Like, they weren't like they were kind of promoted as like two separate things. And it's difficult because of Howl. It's got like a metal influence as well, but it was difficult to promote that one, I think, because it was too metal to be considered like goth and post-punk, but it was too not metal to be promoted as like a metal thing. So it was kind of hard getting that one out there.
Yeah, I could see that. But
Yeah.
people with an open mind and good taste are gonna love it.
Yeah, I hope more people find it. It was a really fun album. One of my favorite things I've done, just because it was so different to what I usually do, and it was just a fun thing to do.
Did you record that yourself at home too?
Yeah, everything aside from the Rats of Reality stuff, which was half recorded at my house, has been recorded in full at my house.
That's very impressive because it sounds great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just, it allows me to work without any deadlines or expensive studio hire. I get to kind of just like work to my own rules, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Because it takes me a while to do stuff, and if I was like paying for a studio or whatever, it would cost me so much. Because I take ages to do stuff, I like to kind of work on stuff and build on it.
Yeah.
And I delete stuff and rework things, and sometimes it takes me months to like finish a song, years to finish a song. So it's cool to be able to work like at my own pace, at my own, like whenever I want to.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what you're doing is working, so you might as well keep doing it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's the plan.
So has Lock Howl played live, or is there ever a plan to, if you haven't?
Yeah, we played live a few times, just kind of local shows. But probably not for the foreseeable future, unless like something came up, like a good opportunity. But for now, like my live goals are like Hellripper type stuff.
Right.
Like my focus is kind of like shifted towards Hellripper becoming like the main thing now, as opposed to before I was just kind of doing things randomly. But yeah, Hellripper's like my main focus now, and I'll work on other stuff like at a slower pace, like when I get the inspiration and stuff like that.
So more side project
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of went to becoming kind of side project style. But yeah, I'm still like really into them. It's just, there's not enough time for me right now. Like I'm trying to like grow Hellripper, because like I don't know, I've got like a momentum with Hellripper for the past couple of years, so I don't want to like stop that, if you know what I mean. So I'm just keeping on going while I can and while the inspiration's still there. I mean, I'm still really inspired and stuff to write Hellripper songs. I'm halfway through the next album already.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just over the past couple of years, Hellripper is just the creative inspiration's just been mainly for that. So I just follow where my inspiration like takes me, really. I don't want to force anything. So
Yeah. So speaking of Hellripper, I think you completed a tour last year of Europe, right?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Yeah, that went really well. That was our first tour. I mean, Hellripper, we haven't played live too much. I'm not sure on the exact amount of shows, but maybe 30 or 40 or something over the past 5 years. So that was our first tour, and yeah, it went great. We played with some really cool bands. We supported Midnight, like I mentioned, of course, one of my favorite bands, which was great. We played, it was cool shows. We met cool people. Yeah, the tour went very well, I think, and especially for a first tour, I think it couldn't have gone much better. I don't think.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself as like a touring man? Could you see yourself on tour for long periods of time?
No, definitely not. No, I like being at home too much. I like music. My favorite thing about music is like the creation of it. So that's what I like. So yeah, I prefer to do that. Of course, I like to play live and things, but I couldn't see myself doing that for like 6 months of a year. Like a full-time touring band, I couldn't see myself doing that.
Yeah,
I think
it's hard.
Yeah, I think it'd be very difficult for me. So for now, like the goal is to see what happens. I mean, of course, everything's stopped right now, so no one has any idea what's really happening. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I like to play live and I like to tour and things, but I'm never going to be a full-time touring guy.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't think it's for me.
Do you have a preference between like playing a festival or like a smaller venue, or do you like both of them for different reasons?
I mean, we haven't really played like big festivals. We played the warm-up show to Roadburn Festival, which was quite a big venue. I mean, I think it was probably the biggest we played, and that was really cool. But people were like right up against the stage and stuff, so it kind of felt like there wasn't like a barrier type thing.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I mean, all the shows I've really enjoyed. But I mean, I guess I do like the smaller ones better, like where it's like everyone's like packed right next to you and it's all sweaty and gross and stuff. I think that's probably what I enjoy best, just because of like there's like a personal like feel to it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I can't really compare it to, like, we haven't played like a big festival or anything like that, so I can't compare it to like a massive thing like that.
Got you.
So, but yeah, everything we've done I've enjoyed.
Let's go refill our chalices and check out Flowers of Flesh and Blood by Lord Rot. This is coming off of the 2018 split with VHS on Dirty Needle Records. I know things are weird right now with everything in the world, but do you have plans or aspirations to ever visit the U.S.?
Yeah, definitely. I've got no plans because right now I've got no idea what's happening right now. So
Yeah.
everything's like it's too unstable.
Right.
I don't even know if US you're allowed to travel to and from the US. I'm not too sure right now, but yeah, I think it's very unlikely that we'll visit the US until things are a bit more stable.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's difficult for a UK band to get over to the US with all the logistics and stuff in the first place, but
Yeah.
added with all the restrictions and stuff and the uncertainty of when things will return and
Right.
all that, it's really risky planning anything right now, but we will definitely be in the US at some point when we can. I get loads of messages about it, and it's one of my goals, definitely.
Yeah. I know you guys have a ton of fans here.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the US is probably where the most fans are, judging by likes and the social media and Spotify stats and stuff. I think the US is definitely. I mean, of course, the US is massive anyway, so
Yeah.
you can have a lot of fans, but they're all spread out all over the place, like
Right.
on different sides of the country. But yeah, overall, the US is, I think, where the most Hellripper fans are from. And yeah, it'd be great to get over there, and we will. Just nothing planned right now.
I think you guys would be great at the Maryland Death Fest.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
That would be great. I've seen the lineups for those over the past couple of times, and yeah, they're always just crazy.
Yeah, it's a great time. We try to go every year. And if you guys played there, we would definitely be there.
Yeah, be great to see you guys.
And if you ever blow through Western New York, you have a free place to stay.
Right?
That's one date sorted. I think the thing is as well, to make it worth our while, we'd obviously need to come over for quite a while, a month or more, to make it worth our while and to make to make the most of it.
Yes.
So add all the reasons I mentioned before. Add that to all the guys' holidays, vacation time, with their jobs and all that kind of shit. It's just it's difficult, but we will get there.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
Me too.
So I have a couple questions, but I heard when you were on Gimme Metal, Gimme Radio, you I think mentioned that you use Tux guitar for tabbing and you write your drums in that. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I write, before I record, I've basically got the full song completely written on Tux guitar, so that when I go to record, it's I've basically got the full idea of what I'm doing. Tux guitar is really useful for me. It's kind of a way to demo songs without the hassle of recording and doing things properly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really useful tool for me.
Yeah, and it's free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you export the MIDI then and then import it into your DAW, or is that?
No, I just use it for a demo purpose. I just use it to kind of play along with. So yeah, I keep the Tux guitar file and I practice along with that, and
got ya.
I add bits and pieces, and then when I go to record, I adapt it from the Tux guitar file and basically kind of play exactly what's on there.
Yeah. Do you use that for the Howl stuff too, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I use it for every song that I write.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just, like I say, it's just like, it's a handy writing tool instead of, like when I write things, I'm usually just messing around on guitar or bass or whatever.
Mhm.
And instead of recording, like if I come up with a good idea, and instead of recording it, I just write it down on Tuck's guitar.
Yeah.
And then it gives you the added bonus of adding drums to it, and then building, like adding parts to that part that you've came up with.
Yeah.
Without re-recording the same riff and keep changing and recording. It's really easy to edit things using Tuck's guitar. Like if you want to change a note, you just press the key and you can change the note. It's just a really useful demo and writing tool for me.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Do you not to get too nerdy, but I wanted to ask.
You're already there.
I'm there. I'm full on nerd. I wanted to ask you what recording software you use.
I use Reaper.
Oh yes.
Yeah. It's
That's what we're recording with right now.
it's a great. I've seen people complain about it, but it was the first thing I learned to use, and I find it really easy. And
Yeah. It's so good.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah, I
not
think
overpriced
great.
like the other ones.
Yeah, exactly. It's like cheap enough, and it's got the same results as other software.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there's no complaints from me about it. It's really easy to use. It's what I've always used as well. So
Do you sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say I can't be bothered learning how to use like another software, or I don't really have the time to try and change things. Like if I'm happy with the results, I'm gonna keep going until I'm not really, or I fancy a change. But as of now, I'm really happy with it.
Yeah. Well, you found a formula that works really well for you, so I don't know why you would change it.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask one more thing about one more nerd question.
Yeah, where are we?
Do you use like actual hardware for like your guitar effects and stuff, or do you use plugins?
I don't really use guitar effects. I'm a very simple person. Like, I mean, it just complicates it for me.
Like, how about the distortion? What would you use for that?
Distortion, I mic my amp.
Okay.
Basically, I just mic my amp. I plug straight into the amp.
Okay.
And basically, what you hear on the recordings is basically just exactly what comes from the amp.
Okay.
I usually add some plugins, like a little bit of reverb, like a tiny bit, a bit of delay, just kind of like beef things up a bit and make it seem bigger.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Usually my guitars are mostly just straight from the amp with a little bit of reverb and delay on plugins. But other than that, I try to keep things as simple as possible.
Yeah.
I don't like to complicate things for myself. With Howl, however, like that's where loads of effects comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's quite. I like learn as I go. Really, I just kind of try different things, different plugins, to see what happens. Because
Mm-hmm.
But the guitar tone and stuff is basically just straight from the amp with a little added kind of stuff.
Yeah, I got you. Well, it works. What you're doing works, though. So we wanted to ask you about some of your lyrical content.
Oh, I was going to go there next too.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So back to Hellripper, away from the nerd talk. Just kidding. So you have a couple different approaches to lyrics for Hellripper, right? You have like the far out, I don't want to call it nonsense because it's not nonsense, but and then you have like your fact-based on true story kind of songs, right? For like the Annalise Mitchell or what,
Yeah.
So when you write songs based on facts and true stories, is that something that you research, or does it just like fall in your lap and you're like, oh, I'm feeling this, I'm going to write about it?
Kind of both. Sometimes it's just like sometimes it's just something I see like online or I see a book or something that looks interesting, and I see it and I think, oh, that'd be a cool thing to write a song about, and then I like look into it further when I write the song. It's like something that interests me, I guess, like all these kind of true stories that kind of show you how like throughout time, like people's beliefs and stuff like that have like shaped their fears and shaped how their societies work and stuff, like with witchcraft and like witch hunts and stuff, which is like doesn't really happen today, like on a wide scale.
At least not that we hear about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the like in our like day-to-day lives, we don't hear about that kind of stuff. Of course, it still happens in some countries and stuff like that. But I mean, of course, the world, like our countries, like have changed, are not as religious as they were, of course, like however long ago, and like how religion like shaped things and how it shaped people's fears, how it shaped the rules of society and stuff like that, and stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, it just interests me. It's just fascinating to me, like stuff that we think is quite crazy now was just the norm back then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always like brutal. There's always murder, there's always people, executions, and the devil always plays a part and stuff like that that just doesn't happen in our day-to-day lives now.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to ask you about the Lord Rot song, Flowers of Flesh and Blood. And what is that song about?
It's basically, there's a Japanese film, Guinea Pig, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah. There's a series, right?
Yeah. I haven't watched them all. I just saw a couple, I think. And yeah, Lord Rot's more of a horror-based, like lyrical content.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like death metal to kind of have like B-movie type violence and
Yeah, I got you.
just like that kind of stuff. Like it's not serious. It's just like it's like Cannibal Corpse kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just based on that film. One of the guinea pigs is called Flower of Flesh and Blood, or A Flower of Flesh and Blood, or something.
Do you so with the Lord Rot stuff, and this is just my opinion, it could be very wrong, but like the Realm of Decay recording sounded to me more like old school death metal.
Mm-hmm.
Really good stuff. And then the split with VHS sounds a little more black metal influence.
Black metal, yeah.
And
it's just
awesome.
a natural thing.
I love both of them. They're both great.
Yeah, thank you.
Slightly different, but so was that a conscious effort to do that?
It wasn't a conscious effort. It's just what came. It's just what came to me. I think over the years I've grown. I think I've improved, like as a songwriter, and you become like more confident to try mixing things.
Yeah.
So if you like, I mean, for example, if you look at the first Hellripper, it's kind of just metal punk, like kind of thing. It's more straightforward, punky.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you go through the releases, they become kind of more. There's a bit more to them. There's more like different influences creep in and stuff. So I get it was just subconsciously. Lord Rot is like it's a death metal thing to me. So I try and write a death metal song, and as long as it's still a death metal song, like if the influences come in, but the song still remains death metal, I'm going to keep it as a Lord Rot song. But yeah, definitely, there's definitely a more black metal influence, and yeah, it wasn't really a conscious decision. It was just something that happened, I guess. Just the stuff that I listened to as well, like during different time periods, I'm listening to a lot of one thing. So it kind of shapes how something is going to sound. Like with the first Lord Rot EP, I was listening to a lot of Dismember, Entombed, Bloodbath, like your Swedish, just your straightforward Swedish kind of stuff. And then by the time I had recorded the split with VHS, I was listening to more. There was like Sacramentum, Necrophobic, of course, one of my favorites, and I guess the Hellripper stuff also kind of played a part. I think it's kind of the VHS split is kind of punky as well. It's got a little bit of the punk as well. So you've got the kind of Entombed D-beat kind of thing, as well as like listening to the Necrophobic and all that kind of stuff. It's just what I'm listening to kind of shapes, like subconsciously just kind of influences me, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What's the metal scene like in Aberdeen?
I'm not in Aberdeen anymore. I haven't been in Aberdeen for a couple of years now.
Right.
Where are you?
I'm up in the Highlands.
Oh, okay.
So there's zero scene where I am.
Just you?
I'm like, yeah, basically.
Just Hellripper.
Yeah, I live I'm about 3 hours away from the nearest like music city. So yeah, there's not much of a like. I guess Hellripper isn't part of like a scene. But like the Scottish scene is growing. Like there's quite a few cool bands coming, especially like in the thrash kind of genre. There's quite a few bands. There's a lot of doom kind of things. Bands like Vool. They're doing kind of speed metal, heavy metal type thing. Midnight Force as well. Disposable are doing a kind of thrash, but with kind of hardcore, I guess. Who else is there? Boke, a band from Aberdeen. They're like kind of power violence, really cool. Wound, a band that feature a couple of the guys that played in Hellripper, like the live band of Hellripper. They're kind of like power violence, death metal grind kind of hybrid. There's loads of bands. Tommy Concrete, he's really cool. He releases about 50 albums per year. He's very prolific with his releases.
Wow.
Yeah, he's crazy. But it's quite a good scene. There's quite a good bunch of bands coming up right now. Just a shame that, of course, the current situation's kind of stopped everything. So
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. Like with COVID, what's going on over there? Are you able to play live shows? Is everything shut down?
There's different rules everywhere. Scotland have different rules to England, and then like within the countries, like each different councils have different rules as well. So it's kind of hard to keep up. It changes like every week.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not as affected personally because I'm quite remote. Like I'm quite far from everything. So it hasn't badly changed how I do things. Everything is still open where I am. All the shops and pubs and things are still open where I am. You just have to wear a mask and kind of stay 2 meters away from people.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it changes all the time. Some places are more affected than others. But yeah, yeah.
I wish I bought stock in these mask companies before this all happened. I'd be rich.
We submit ourselves to the darkness, eternal adoration of the beast. Common diabolic signals, the devil's deceit. We kneel before the altar of Satan, and us descend towards the sky. Seven spirits and the hearing God on these I have been trampled and close we deny. Every shackle of heart, sign Lucifer touch. It was a black magic spell, into the everlasting flame. You are born to remain within the everlasting hellfire. Fast.
That was Within the Everlasting Hellfire by Hellripper. That's coming off of their debut full-length, Coagulating Darkness.
So we're seeing bands online kind of improvise because, you know, here in the States, like you said, things change almost daily.
Yeah.
So it's hard to plan. It's hard to tour. It's even hard to like cross state lines at this point. So we see a lot of bands doing live streams. What are your thoughts on that? And do you have any plans to do something similar?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, there's no other option. I mean, you can't really play shows, so live stream, I guess, is the next best thing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's not the same, but I enjoy watching.
Yeah.
Like, I watch stuff on YouTube all the time, so I check out band live streams when I see them. But yeah, I think they're a cool thing. For me, for Hellripper, it's kind of difficult because we are, like the guys in the live band, we live in 4 different cities and 2 different countries. So yeah, so I'm the 3 of us, the 3 of us in Scotland are about 3-4 hours away from each other, and Max lives at the very bottom of the UK. I live at the very top. He lives at the very bottom. So he's 12 hours away from me or something.
Oh, wow.
So if you add that onto like how do we sort out equipment and the travel, and so right now it would be a hassle and difficult to set up, but it is something I'd like to do if it was possible. I have been looking at ways and like seeing what we can do, but it's been nothing has like came up that has made me interested in doing it so far. Like,
yeah.
It seems more difficult and more hassle than it's worth for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather just be writing new music than trying to figure out logistics of all that.
Yeah.
If it becomes easier, like if there's an easy way to do it or something comes up, then I'd definitely be willing to do it. But as of now, it's looking quite difficult for us to do that. But yeah, I mean, all these bands that are doing live streams, I think it's cool. I mean, like I say, it's the next best thing, and it gives people something to watch. We're getting some cool like live album type things, like releases. So yeah, it gives you more cool stuff to watch and listen to. But yeah, like I just hope things can return to normal or almost normal soon enough, so like actual shows can happen again.
Us too.
Yes, us too.
We're feeling it.
Yeah.
We've actually gone to a couple, I think 2, right?
Yeah.
Like 2 of our local favorite bands. We go to their practice.
Just to get live music.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're definitely missing the live music.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what does James do outside of music?
I mean, that's basically it, really.
That's it?
Yeah, I watch football, soccer, and I watch TV. Other than that, it's mostly everything I do is to do with music. I usually, Hellripper's it's like a full-time job, so I'm doing that most of the day.
Yeah.
Something to do with Hellripper, whether it be writing, recording, podcasts and things, organizing stuff, speaking to people, some sort of promotion, all that stuff. That's usually what I'm doing. And then when I'm not doing that, it's usually just watching TV or films or something like that.
Do you have a favorite show or series you're hooked on right now?
Right now, I've started Dexter. I'd never seen Dexter before, but my girlfriend's got me into watching all these shows that everyone has seen, but that I refused to watch before. So I recently finished Mad Men, which was amazing. One of my favorites. I only watched Breaking Bad like 2 years ago or something, and that's one of my favorites as well. But right now, it's Dexter. I've started that. I think I'm on series 2. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we know that you released The Affair of the Poisons, right? What can we expect in the future from any and all of your projects? You mentioned like a crust punk project earlier on that I wanted to probe you about, but I didn't want to be obnoxious.
Oh yeah, it's a crust punk thing. There's nothing much more to say really. I've recorded one song. It kind of sounds like a mixture of like Wolf Brigade and kind of early Typo Negative, Carnivore type stuff.
Nice.
Kind of that kind of stuff. I mean, there's not much really to say. There's no name for it. It's just something I'm doing, and hopefully that'll be released soon. What else am I doing? I'm working on a black metal thing, a more straightforward black metal thing. But most of these, like, they're things that are in progress, and they don't really have much more than a song written or something. So I've got a folder of about like 15 to 20 different things that I'm doing at the moment, but they're all in various stages of completion. Lord Rot, I'll probably be releasing an EP at some point soon. I mean, I say soon. I've been saying I'm going to release something for like the past 3 years, but it's just when inspiration comes, really. I don't like to put out stuff that I'm not happy with, so I get really into something and I write a song, and then like the inspiration will kind of fade, and then I'll move on to like something else that I've got excited about, and then it kind of revolves, so it becomes like a slow process where I start a million things and it takes me a while to finish them, because I wish I could just work on one thing until I finish it. But yeah, I've got like I say, like 20 different things that I'm working on, and everything will come out at some point, but I've got no idea when. The only thing that's kind of got set goals is like Hellripper. I hope to have the new album out either this time next year or by April, I guess, depending on when I finish it and what the label think as well, like when they want to release it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's the only thing I've got. I mean, the Affair of the Poisons, I finished recording that in December, and it was just we decided it was supposed to be released in May, but we decided the label and I decided to delay it because the situation in it was like March. We decided to delay it because that was when everything was just starting, like the whole situation, and we had no idea what was going on, and we thought, and like there was like, it may be better by the end of the year, and of course that's not the case. And but yeah, everything was just crazy at the start of the year, so we decided to delay it until October. So I've been sitting on the album for almost a year, so I've had this year to just kind of carry on writing the next album. So yeah, I got quite a lot of work done so far on that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very impressive. We have a listener question that I was going to ask you a couple minutes ago. I forgot about.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. This is from Nick from Hessian Firm, which is a French record label.
Awesome label.
Yeah. He was on the podcast, I don't know, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
He wanted us to learn about haggis and ask you if you could tell us about it.
I mean, what do you want to know?
Well, we're dumb Americans. We don't know what it is.
I didn't even research it. I'm like, okay, we'll just ask him and figure it out on the air.
I mean, it's like a traditional Scottish food made from like sheep. The inside of like sheep. Okay. Is it good? Mixed with like, I don't like it.
No.
It's kind of like like a traditional meal yeah, I'm not a fan.
How is it prepared? Is it like a stew?
No, it's like in a casing. It used to be like inside an animal stomach, but now I'm not sure what the casing is. I actually watched a video. I would recommend you watch this video as well. I think it was the channel Food Insider, maybe I can't remember. And they like went into a haggis like factory to show how it was made and stuff.
Okay, we'll watch it.
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, I'm not a big fan. Yeah.
It almost sounds like sausage.
Yeah, it's like a sausage. It's in like a casing. Yeah, it's in like a kind of sausage casing. It's kind of like a big round ball, But yeah, I mean, you may like it.
I don't know about that. I feel like Nick set us up a little bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are intrigued. It's like a weird thing. Like, yeah. Yeah, it's just like, yeah. It sounds more strange than it is. It's like the inside of a sheep mixed with like onions and spices and stuff. That's basically it. It's kind of like mint. Yeah, it's like mint, I guess. I mean, there's definitely worse things than like hot dogs and stuff, I would say.
Yeah. We actually have in our city is about the size of, population-wise, the size of Aberdeen.
Okay.
But our city, one of the most popular food items is these red and white hot dogs. There's white hot dogs.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
exactly.
And people love them. We're not fans of it, but people like.
What are they different? How are they different? Sorry.
They're made with chicken lips. I don't know.
I think the white is made with pork, or I don't know. There's something different about it, but
We don't eat hot dogs, so
yeah. I don't know. People seem to love it, but we're kind of repulsed by it. So maybe that's our haggis. I don't know.
Possibly.
Definitely huge fans of everything you're doing, and we can't wait to hear whatever you come out with next. I'm sure no matter what direction you go, it's going to be great.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the continued support. I mean, it's people like you that allow me to do this. So, yeah, it's very much appreciated. Yeah, there's loads of bands in the underground right now, like, that are doing cool shit. So,
yep.
I definitely encourage anyone to look at the underground scene. I mean, the black thrash, black speed genre that I play, just that scene alone, there's like so many killer bands, and of course there's loads of like death metal right now. There's so much cool shit happening in death metal, and like there's loads of stuff in the underground right now, like really cool bands. This year's been quite crazy for releases, and so yeah, I mean, the underground is definitely in a good place, I would say, right now. Like in terms of the music being released.
Absolutely. And I was really touched when I saw that Howl recommended Beastmilk, Death Reflects Us on your Bandcamp page, because that's a fucking great album.
That is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's just a genius album, I think. The songs are so catchy. It's like a dark pop rock goth album. Like it's got such a unique sound, I think, like drenched in reverb. One of my favorite albums of all time.
That's cool stuff. And I always love that, like, especially people in the underground metal scene, that they are mostly super fans of the music, as well as these great talented musicians on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that shows with our conversation tonight. You're definitely a huge fan of everything.
Yep.
Yeah, fan first, and I mean, I love. Yeah, like I say, I still go on YouTube and just find new bands and things. So that's. And Spotify, of course, like there's so much things, and a lot of people are against Spotify right now, but I think it's a great discovery tool.
It is.
And like just the playlists or whatever, like there's just so much. Yeah, I'm discovering like new bands every day, and yeah, it's just really cool. Like I think it's just been really cool to have the internet and YouTube and things to help that. I mean, yeah.
Absolutely.
So is there anything that you wanted to mention in closing, promote?
Yeah, the you can check out the new Hellripper album, The Affair of the Poisons, out now on Peaceville Records. You can check that out on YouTube, Bandcamp, Spotify, all the other streaming services. And you can pick it up on vinyl, cassette, and CD. I think that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for spending so much time with us tonight.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. We're huge fans of what you do, and we are so looking forward to the future.
Yeah.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your the support. It's cool to hear that you're a fan of the other stuff as well. Yeah, I'm just very grateful for the support. Thank you very much for taking the time to have me on here as well.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thanks, James. Have a good night and stay safe.
Yeah. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, that was a lot of fun.
It was.
I encourage everybody to go like the Hellripper
Yep.
Facebook page, go follow him on Bandcamp,
Mm-hmm.
go buy his stuff.
Absolutely.
So we are going to end the show today where Hellripper began.
Perfect.
But first, stay safe, stay healthy, don't be an asshole.
Don't let your haggis loaf.
Here is Rats of Reality with The Art of Debilitation.
Together The